Hello and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites podcast. Today is episode number 23 and we have two amazing guests on the show. The first one that I would like to mention is our co-host. It is our own in-house nip specialist, aka Anabelle Hiller. Welcome, Annabelle, to the show. How are you?
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
It's great to have you here. Did you recover a little bit of the episode with Fountain Pen Memes?
It took a minute. It was a good one. I thought
It was
funny.
a lot of fun,
It was
right?
very silly.
It was a lot of fun. But this show will be more fun, and I'm sure because we have an amazing guest. It is the one and only Brad Dowdy. Welcome, Brad, to the show. How are you doing?
Woo!
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. How is it to be a guest on a different podcast? Because, my introduction was not complete, but you are, of course, known for the Pen Addict podcast, with multiple million listeners every week to the show. So this is it's peanuts for you.
Yeah. No. I love visiting with the little people, Joost. So I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. I like that you're supporting the small guys in the podcast world.
No, but honestly, I love being on other shows. I love being on other podcasts because I love talking about this stuff, right? Like it's easy, right? I enjoy doing it. It's easier than doing my own show, which I have to prepare for joining your show. You have to do all the work. I just
we don't prepare anything.
Yeah, trust me. I know that move pretty well myself. So,
No, but it's a lot of fun. But before we start this whole show, we always do the pen check first. And Annabelle, I would like to ask you to start with this pen check.
The pen check.
Well. This is a very nice pen that I got here. And I got it a few weeks ago when I was in Baltimore at the Baltimore Pen Show. And as some people might know, I might have spent a lot of time at Jonathan Brooks's table. And I saw one of these pens.
Dangerous.
It's not this purple in real life. If I turn off my beautiful duo color lighting, I turn yellow, but the pen turns more blue. And that's the original color of it. And this pen, I was really annoying that whole weekend because anybody who bought a pen, I had to grab it and I had to touch it because Jonathan creates these really good matte satin finishes and they're just so good to touch. So everybody got a bit freaked out by me fondling their pens all weekend. And that weekend, I also met Brad in real life for the first time.
You met him for the first time?
Yes.
Oh, but in real life, you mean?
in real life, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'd been on his podcast before and I'm a regular on his stream as well. But he had to endure me in real life. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I got to witness a lot of handling of that pen. So yes, it was.
How did you feel? How did you feel about that when Annabelle was touching all these pens?
It was a little uncomfortable, but she. I'm glad she ended up purchasing that pen. I think that was the key thing in the back of my head. I was like, I hope this is the one that she goes with.
Yeah.
It was.
And now she's happy with it. Amazing.
Yeah, it's it's an amazing pen. It's like if she didn't buy it, someone else was.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody else had bought this exact color and model already, and I just touched that pen for an hour, and then I just had to go back and get my own. So thanks, Jonathan, for that. I have no idea what material or what model that is, but it's nice.
What nib do you have on it, Annabelle? Because that's, of course, a really important question for a nib specialist, right?
I have... Wait, can I focus?
Ooh, I can see it now.
I got my own nib in it.
Nice.
I made this nib. It's made of silver. It's engraved.
A silver nib, wow.
Wow.
They're not available anymore, right? I got questions of people like, can you get me an Annabelle nib? But not at the time.
They'll be out at some point. I'm trying to make them. It's fine. But there's a lot of requests and a lot of nibs to make.
Well, that's good, right?
Yes.
Good
I just have to make them.
Yeah. This is really first world problem that you have too many requests for your nib.
I know. I'm so popular.
Yeah, that's a good thing. All right. Before you get to too much like about yourself. Brett, what is your pen check for this week?
Unbeknownst to me, I also chose a pen that I bought at the Baltimore Pen Show. It is an Edison Beaumont in a Stormwind's blanks called Palomino Waltz at Sunset. So it's just a really nice swirly acrylic, has a little bit of sparkle in it. It's got some purples, grays, blues. The thing that I liked the most was the ceramic coating on the hardware. So it's got the white clip, white cap band. Is special made for the Baltimore Pen Show. So this is number 10 of 15. So it's a limited edition I wanted to pick up. And I really like the Beaumont shape. It's a smaller pen, has a great grip section for me. I have a steel extra fine nib on here, which I love steel nibs. So that was an easy choice for me. And I'm just really, really digging this pen. I did ink it up with Sailor Chushu ink, which is kind of a purplish gray. To kind of match some of the colors I like to complement or match the colors on the pens. So yeah, it's been a great pen. I already loved this shape anyway. I have a different Edison Beaumont. So when I saw that color and saw the hardware treatment, like I want to test out that hardware treatment. It's an expensive pen to like say, hey, I want to see how this ceramic holds up on this clip. But it didn't matter because I like the pen so much anyway.
Does it go into the top 100?
Oh, easily. Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
I really liked how you grabbed the pen out of your pocket. Like this is
I was prepared a little bit.
Yeah.
I might have had. See, you lied. You actually did some show prep and said, "Hey, you need to be prepared for this." So, like, had it handy.
Nice. I like that. All right, let's go to my pen check. And for my pen check, because I was really not prepared at all, I have to admit that. Like 5 minutes before the show, I asked Annabelle, okay, what pen check shall I show this week? So I grabbed actually a pen that is for a customer. So a customer bought it with us, but it's still here because it needs to have some things done. But it's a really pretty one. So I need to wear gloves for this one. So first,
it's like the meme.
Yeah. All right.
Oh God.
Here it is. Wait, I will have my second glove as well for the.
Very good. You look like a surgeon now. It's horrifying.
Nice. So what I have here today, this week, so this is my pen check. It is the Namiki Yukari Royal Night Scene Fountain Pen. And the artwork that is done on this fountain pen is truly amazing. I don't know if the camera picks it up nicely. I will add some B footage to the video for the YouTube channel. But this pen, it's just a piece of art. And I think all the different styles of the Japanese artworks are done on this pen, because I see everything. I see Maki-e, I see everything. And it's so nicely done. I just wanted to show you guys, and here it is. But this pen is already sold. It goes to the customer later this week, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
those
I
are
get
stunning.
to play with it first, so I don't mind.
You get to see them a lot in person. I get to see them when we go to the Baltimore Pen Show because our pilot distributor in the U.S. likes to attend.
Do you not have any Yukaris yourself?
Not that size. I have the Milky Way and the smaller Yukari.
No,
yeah,
not that one.
Yeah, well, that's the one. No. That's my like number one favorite pen easily.
Oh, I was talking to our mutual friend Josh the other day, and I was saying I think there's maybe two more pens that I think I really, really want, and one of them is the Milky Way.
Yeah, I brought that to Baltimore just to show him because he wanted to see the size, because it's a smaller one compared to the one you have in your hand, Joost. Actually, much smaller, like relatively. But that's the style of pen that I like. So yeah,
we didn't really sit down, and I didn't really see a bunch of your pens. I don't think.
Yeah.
I only saw one of your pens, and it's in my house right now.
well, two of them, because you did do a little work on.
Oh yeah,
one
that's
for
true.
me.
That's true. How nice of me.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Brad, from our previous guest. The previous guest was Mr. Fountain Pen Memes.
Yes.
and he had an amazing question for you. The question was, Brett, are you matching your pen with your outfit?
Oh, wow. I kind of got called out today because I didn't. Like, this is not the correct matching situation for this shirt, or importantly, my shoes, which I don't know if we want to show that on stream, because
Come on,
that's what I will.
show us your shoes. You
Well,
can do
what
it.
I would normally do is we would match a pin like this, so you know what's coming. So we have an orange Delrin spoke design here that matches the orange dots in my shirt, so we complement. We don't go full on match, but then sometimes, you know, we got to bring in the big guns and have the orange shoes on there for the orange pen. So I'm not sure that's the visual you really wanted for this show, but
Of course, I love it.
yeah.
This would be like in the thumbnail
This would be
that
clipped.
you're
This would
with
be
your
clipped for sure.
foot in.
So yeah, I consider matching all the things when I choose a pen or an ink or an article of clothing. There's at least has to be some complementary styles for that. So yeah,
Nice.
to my
And you,
detriment
Annabelle?
sometimes.
I mean, I have a lot of blue pens, and at all times I'm blue somewhere on my body. So you know.
That's true. That's true.
But other than that, I don't know. I stick to black and blues in my clothing anyway, so that helps.
That helps a lot. Brad, let's talk a little bit about your podcast. How did this whole podcasting thing all started for you? Because you're like the godfather of podcasting, found the pen podcasting.
Yeah, so we crossed the 11-year mark in February. So what, 566 episodes, 565. I didn't look, I lose count, but it's great. It's been awesome. It's been the best thing. And it started just on a whim. I had the Pen Addict blog, which I was just reviewing pens, you know, mostly starting out with like gel ink pens, you know, fine liners, ballpoints, things like that. And I started to get a little bit of an audience, and there was a reader by the name of Patrick Rohn who I exchanged a lot of emails with. We would just talk online, talk on social media. He was a really good friend and good follower. And he had a podcast with a guy named Mike Hurley. And their podcast sometimes talked about Patrick's writing style, his journaling, you know, how Patrick liked fountain pens. And it would just come up as a topic every now and then. So eventually Patrick and I got to know each other a little bit, and he asked me to come as a guest on the show so he could talk with me about fountain pens. And Mike was just kind of like passively, you know, sitting and just, you know, while Patrick and I just chit chatted about pens, and Mike would chime in every now and then. And so we finished that recording. The podcast was called Enough. Because it honestly, it's kind of like the antithesis of what I do now. It was about minimalism and things like that. So I'm more on the maximalist side when it comes to pens. But at the time, like, you know, that was like Patrick's, you know, ideas were like, hey, just, you know, I have this one great pen. I write in my journal, and this is how I express myself and things like that. So we finished the show. And at that time, Mike had that podcast and maybe one or two other podcasts he just kind of did on the side. He had a regular day job. Did podcasts. He said we should do a podcast about pens. And I told him that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. Like that, yeah, like literally, that sounds terrible.
Why should somebody start a podcast about pens?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you remember, this is like, you know, 12, 13 years ago, like when we got the idea to do this, is like, no, that is like, I have a blog about pens. That's weird enough. Like, who's going to listen to this podcast? So
but at that time, podcasting was not as big as it is right now, right?
Right. It's not like where you pretty much anyone could do a podcast back then, but it was much more that new technology, you know, that new kind of thing going around. And, you know, there were starting to be like some popular shows just like in the general conscience, but nothing like it is now. Or
not everybody thought that their opinion was like valuable enough to like broadcast it to the world, like hours of talking, right?
Exactly. So I turned him down at first. So I literally meant what I said. I was like, eh. And plus I had never done anything like that. I'd never done any audio or anything like that. So I was like, I don't know if I flat turned him down or said, let me think about it. But over the next couple of weeks, he stayed on me. asking like, hey, I really think this. And I was like, I finally caved in because I like talking about this stuff, right? So, but I thought we maybe had like 10 episodes in us. I was like, maybe we could do like 10 episodes. And I don't know what I'll talk about after the first 2 or 3. And it just started rolling. Mike and I have a really good chemistry. He
That's
knows
important.
just enough to ask me the questions and lead me on to go off on the tangents that I do about pens and paper and ink.
Because
So
Mike
it
is
kind
not
of
really a
works.
pen guy, right?
He is, but
He
it's
is
very
now.
metered, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he probably has more fountain pens than a normal person, right? Like he has probably 30 or 40 fountain pens and, a bunch of other roller balls, ballpoints, but he's not like in like our ecosystem like we would be. Like we're in the stationary world. He just kind of dabbles. Like if he sees something cool, he might end up buying it, at some point, but he's not all about it every week and things like that. Like
He
I
does have
am, or
his
most of us.
own brand though, like with the Cortex.
Yeah, so
Notebooks
Cortex
and desk
merch,
pads?
he's making some notepads and journals, and that has gone
Okay.
really well because he's made some. The first big product was called the Theme System Journal, and it's still, I don't know if that's the biggest product that they do, but it's an idea based journal to like capture certain things, capture your day, what you're working towards, goals, things like that. So he's definitely in the stationary realm in that way. But as far as like, hey, what's the new Aurora pen, or what is Leonardo up to? Like he wouldn't have any concept. Like I would have, like when Leonardo launched, what, 5, 6, 7 years ago, like I'm into that. He wouldn't have a clue until I explained it to him. Right. So that's his level, but he enjoys pens. He enjoys inks. He enjoys using the stuff. He's just not as like completely off the deep end like we are.
No, but that's why he has you, right?
Right. That's why the show works.
Yeah.
Right. Because we don't have to like, argue over microphone time. He can set me up, and then I can go on a riff, and then he can tell me I'm wrong, and then I can explain why he's wrong, and it just kind of works. So yeah. And it's like one of the things I tell people, and they're surprised that we've been doing this for so long. That's a surprise, but like we've never argued about anything. Like it's been a really good relationship for a pretty long time, which is pretty rare in this type of digital environment, right? There's a lot of churn and a lot of turnover and a lot of change, and people's, things change. Mike and I have taken this, both of our jobs, him as a podcaster, me as someone in the pen business, taken this into full-time jobs. He's now a full-time podcaster. I'm now a full-time, I don't know, stationary influencer.
Yeah. No, but it's great, right? That you can make your living out of your hobby.
Right. So yeah, like, you don't plan for stuff like this, right? You do like what's fun for you, what feels good, have fun with it. I've never taken it like overly serious. Like I never like set up a blog to try to make a business out of it. Right. I did this for fun. I did this because I like to share things. I like to talk to people who have similar interests. As the years gone on, I've liked to kind of like turn that into a little bit of education. I like helping people, I like the feedback and getting new people into stationary and answering questions and helping stuff out that. So it's just kind of came naturally over all the years, and the podcast has certainly played an outsized role in what I'm able to do today.
I can imagine. What is the strangest story that you have out of that podcast? Because you told like you wanted to help people out and things like that. I can imagine that people come to you with stories and that you're like, wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different main things. One, we actually do get people to tell us their horror stories. So y'all probably had some of those cross your workbench or your store over times with people just doing silly things with their pens. We won't call anyone out specifically for that. One of the things that we got known for doing back in the day, and that's only probably 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, was calling out ridiculous Kickstarter projects for pens and kind of exposing them for the trash that they are, right? Because people would come to me, like Kickstarter had that boom, just like podcasting had that boom, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden there was a pen Kickstarter, then there was 2 pen Kickstarters, then there were 200 pen Kickstarters, right? So people just kind of jumping on this bandwagon, and it was a problem for people that listen to our podcast knowing what was good or not. And it's not always easy to tell that just from a web page and a Kickstarter campaign. But when you're someone like myself, and then like a few other people have followed it from day one and are able to tell how the marketing copy is written, how the videos are shot, the products that people would try to use as fountain pen inks and not really understanding that you can't use that as fountain pen inks, and trying to sell you a product. That became a big thing for us for a while when that Kickstarter was really booming on pen projects, to call some of those out saying, hey, slow down. You don't need to back every pen project that crosses your desk. A lot of these are not what they are pretending to be. So that was a good several years worth of Kickstarter, like
bashing,
just Kickstarter projects just running rampant in the pen world and just being horrible. So now we've kind of crossed the threshold. There's fewer, there's a lot more reasonability behind them. They're more legitimate.
Because of you.
I doubt that. I doubt that.
Yeah, that's why I never made a Kickstarter for my nibs, because I didn't want them to call me out on my bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean,
My bull.
Yeah, Kickstarters are tough. I've done, I don't know, maybe 10 of them. And they're always a challenge. I mean, I like it to a degree, but it's also like they can go south too. So yeah, it's good.
Sounds
But
scary.
that was one of our big like podcasts, like kind of like not directly educational. Hey, let me teach you something, but it's like, look, you need to realize what I'm seeing here and why you might not be spending your money wisely backing some of these projects.
No, but it's important to make people aware of the things that they're putting their money in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was a time where we were actively trying to get some projects stopped because they were so like incorrect in like the what they were providing for the value, and it's just completely wrong. So yeah, and I know that a couple got taken down just because they were just like straight up lying in the thing, and we would just go, oof, yeah, let's not let our fans and other stationary users get involved in this, because it's not going to go well.
It's not good. It's not good.
Something
else
scary.
that can put their money in and that is great are the new products of Appelboom. So let's talk about that.
Professional. You are a professional.
Wow,
I
this
love it.
This was a really thank you so much, Brad, for this setup to let me finish that one.
New products.
All right. So new products. We have actually 2 of them this week, 3 actually, because the first one is the Leonardo collection. It's growing more and more, and Leonardo launched 2 new colors in their popular Mosaico collection. And the Mosaico collection is made with the characteristic spaghetti resin, but this time with the cut horizontally instead of vertically. The 2 new colors we can find in this collection are the anemone and the baobab. The anemone and the baobab colors we already know for the Momento Zero Grande 2.0 collection, but the horizontal cut of the spaghetti resin makes the Mosaico completely different. So it is a new concept. So these 2 new pens of Leonardo are now on our website. They can be ordered and they ship within 2 or 3 weeks. What do you guys think of these 2 new colors, Annabelle and Brad?
Don't call me out like that. I haven't looked at them yet.
So I haven't seen the new cut on them, but I know the 2 colors from the Grande release. They're some of the best ones that they do, which, to be fair to Leonardo, every time they release one, it's like, this is the best one you've ever done. And then the next one comes, this is the best one you've ever done. So like I have a really high like personal like love for Leonardo products. So I like them, and these are some of the best they've ever done. So I'm looking forward to check out the spaghetti, the different cut of the material. So yeah, I want to see that. But the color wise, I think they're fantastic.
Are we gonna bring some of them? Wait, Are we going to DC? And if so, are we bringing some of them to DC?
Whoa.
Sorry.
This is going to be really fast.
Oh.
DC is only in August. First of all, we have a show here in the Netherlands, the 4th of
Oh,
June.
yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah.
let's focus on that one first. After that, we're going to talk about DC.
No, I'm talking about Brad being able to see them in real life at the.
But Brad can also come to the Dutch Pen Show, right?
That's true.
That is a long running. At the top of my list,
true.
like not even a joke, like at the top of my list to get to. Joost, I need you to put the thumb on the scale. I need a 2-day show to make the trip. I need 2 days.
Okay, I will try to get something moving. No, honestly, a lot of people are asking for it to make it a 2-day show, but there are also a lot of people are saying, a lot of vendors are saying, like, 1 day is enough for us. We are not going to sell more in 2 days. So it's like,
yes,
there are two different point of views for the people, and of course for Annabelle, it's like if there are 2 days, then there are extra people doing nib work, so for her it's good. But if you're selling stuff, then it's like, most likely you will have the same people on, or if you have the show on 1 day, then on 2 days. So
I'm not sure I agree. I don't think I agree. I think the crowd on Saturdays is usually vastly different than on a Sunday or a Friday even. But
that's a different discussion that we can
And
have sometime during the Dutch Pen Show.
And I only look at it selfishly from travel, right? If I'm
Of course, no, but
if I'm going to
that's-
do
but
8
that's the
hours
thing.
each way, right?
Yeah, no, but that's the
but
thing.
then you stay for a week and we'll take you to all the best.
Oh,
pen
I
shops.
definitely would. But I mean, this is a me problem, right? Putting that big of a travel on each end and getting a 6-hour window at the show to talk to people, right? Like I wouldn't even care to shop. I just want to see everyone and talk to everyone, right? That's a very tight window.
No,
But
but it's already happening the night before and the night after. So
okay.
in that perspective, you have a lot of time to talk with people.
I like the way you think. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
No,
that's all
but,
you needed to do to sell me, Annabelle. Was
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't actually going to hang out with you.
No, but Carrie told me from Fountain Pen Day. He said to me, "You may have to make it a destination show. If it's a destination show, so 2 days, then more people all over the world will come more easily to the show. But for now, it's only a 1-day show, and I will try to convince everybody to make it a 2-day show. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not doing the show by myself.
Yep.
Otherwise, I would call it the Appelboom Pen Show, of course. But it's the Dutch Pen Show, so I have to talk with a lot of other vendors and a lot of other people that are involved. And yeah,
I should just change up the flyer because I'm in charge of the flyer. So if I just change the dates on the flyer, then
you
that
can
should
try.
be fine.
And everybody is
Then
there on
that's official.
Saturdays.
the hotel might have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
All right. But let's talk about the second new product that's live on our website, because it is it is a Pelikan, and one of the first special edition fountain pens from Pelikan in modern time. It was actually the M800 Transparent Green Collector's Edition of 1992. The year after, Pelikan launched their first ever limited edition, the M800 Blue Ocean. And after that, we have found many releases, special and limited editions of Pelikan year after year. Fast forwarding a little bit to the present days, we are proud to announce the latest special edition of Pelikan, the M800 Special Edition Green Demonstrator. And this model is expected to actually be in our store late April, so in about a month. This green special edition resembles a lot of the 1992 edition, but there are some differences. First difference is the price, of course. 30 years apart, there's a little price difference, but also the main difference is the cap ring, which is a redesign of Pelikan's iconic trim. The rings that have adorned the cap and the piston knob of the Souverain pens have for decades been 2 separate rings. And the concept of this remains the same, but the difference is that the rings are now being made from a single thick ring, styled to resemble the 2 rings design that we are familiar with. And the 2 polished bands are still there, but there is a matte finish band in between them. And the color green is, of course, always a good choice because, yeah, Appelboom green, it's always great to have a little green pen. And demonstrator pens are always cool. So, Annabelle, I hope that you have seen this pen. What do you
I
think
think you
of this
showed it
pen?
to me in
Of course.
person. Oh, you showed me a picture last week, right? So
Yes.
I'm prepared. Yeah, it's neat. It's a neat green. I'm so bad at selling things. It's a neat pen. It's a demonstrator. It's green. It's good.
Wow, you're
I like
amazing.
it. I know, right?
What do you think, Brad?
I'll help you sell it. I actually have a two-part. I'll have my own response, and then I actually have a question for you if you'll allow it.
Of course.
I think it's a top-tier Pelikan release. I think it's
Mhm.
like at the very top for what they tried to do to mix in the history of the brand, the style of the pen, and then kind of modernize it. The second question, which I think, I don't know, you may or may not want to answer, but it also at the same time might help you sell more pens. I'm wondering from a retail perspective, are you going to be able to receive your full order? Because I think this is going to be a really hot pen. And will you get everything that you have requested for this pen?
Well, luckily, our relationship with Pelikan is outstanding, and therefore they already allocated to us the pens that we will get. And the
Good.
past learned that we always get the pens that we are allocated to. So that's a good thing. And eventually, when we sold out all the pens that we would get, we just put the product offline because it wouldn't make any sense to
Yep.
keep selling things that we will not get. For example, the Tortoiseshell Black M605,
Right.
we sold out pretty fast, but after a while, I got a message from Pelikan that, hey, we found a batch of pens. Are you interested in it? And I said, of course, why not? So we will get some more of them in July. And we have the product now live again. So if people
Yeah.
want to have it, they can order it. And once those pens are sold out, we put the product offline again. So yeah, we don't have any
Yeah.
issue with that.
It's
I don't. Yeah.
good. That's a great pen, and I think it's going to do extremely well. I see. Pelican fans will just be fawning over this pen for
Hmm.
sure. Right? It's perfect for me. And I say this is not a huge Pelican fan. Like I don't use Pelicans; they don't work for me from the nib
Hmm.
style. But what I appreciate about Pelican is like how like exceptional the quality is and how great their design team is. They
Hmm.
knock everything out the park. I have a huge
You don't.
respect for Pelican, despite not really using them.
What do you think of
Is
the
that for
of the
old
color being a
Pelicans?
re-release of a 1992 edition?
I think it was time. I mean, they made the
Yeah.
smaller one, right? Not long ago.
Hmm.
Then they make a 200 or a 400 not
Yeah, it was
that
a
long ago,
200, I
like
think,
in
something
the
like that. Yeah.
90s or 2000s or something. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's long enough. Like if they did it
Is
every 5,
92 is 92 considered vintage?
probably not for Pelican, right?
I don't know.
Nah.
Nah, not for Pelican. But like no, I mean if they did that every 5 years or maybe even 10 years, you know, like people would start like bucking and like going, yeah, what are you
Hmm.
you're just trying to milk me, Pelican, for all the things. You can't change a gold trim green demonstrator that much from year to year unless you made it in every size.
Hmm.
But then you'll just have a little bit of burnout. So Pelican does a good job with that. Like the Stress Bond releases were reasonably close, but had different sizes in them. And you know, I think they did so well. But yeah, I have no problem with that re-release. Like it's when you say Pelican, if I went to someone who's a huge Pelican fan, that's going to be one of the first pens that they pull out of their
Hmm.
collection to show me. So why not re-release it?
Yeah. No, I also think that it did a great job on this re-release. So I'm really happy with it actually, and
Yeah,
they're selling pretty fast. So if you're still interested, make sure to buy it now because otherwise it's gone and we will not have it anymore. Annabelle, what is your question for Brad? Or you had two
So
questions, right?
yes, I have two questions.
Okay.
Okay. The first question is, given that you are ancient and you've been doing this for so long,
thank you.
you are super, super aware of just the trends that have been happening in the pen world, right? Because you've been writing about this. You're far more aware of this than I would be. I just see whatever comes across my table. And I'm like, oh, look, it's a new Leonardo. Cool. Right now, I actually have to like see releases that we have because Yoast forces them onto me. But So, what are trends that you expect to come along in the next few years, or what are trends that you wish would come along in the next few years?
I love this question.
Is that already the 2 questions, or is this one
No,
question? Because
that's one
I heard
question.
2 questions. Okay.
No. Pay attention.
I think we have begun probably in the past year, and I don't see this ending for quite some time. We are in the value phase of shopping for pin collectors, and I don't mean cheap. I mean that everyone is considering their bang for their buck, no matter if they're spending $100 on a pin or $1,000 for a pin. In that we have a lot of smart consumers. We have, thanks to social media, podcasts, blogs, a lot more knowledge being shared broadly. So people in the past, if you say like brand X drops a $400 pen, and a lot of times there might not have been a lot of consideration to whether you would buy that pen. If you were a fan of the brand, you would just go in and you would purchase that pen and you would enjoy it. Maybe you wouldn't enjoy it. Now, I think the pen industry has not slowed down at all as far as brands manufacturing releases. But what's happened in my mind, and Yost has the bottom line to back it up, that I don't have, but just in perception, people want to spend their money well, where several years ago that was less of a consideration, right? I don't want to dismiss that. It's always a consideration, right? People always have like a budget, we're going to spend well, but I'm a huge fan of Sailor. I'm not putting them on blast. I don't need 20 this year. I just don't, right? I'll give me one. I'll be happy.
19
And
is
then
okay.
like across all brands, everyone's having price increases, right? So, and then everyone's having like life price increases as well, right? That's a podcast title right there. Life price increases. So people want to spend their money well, right? I'll pay for it, but it better be good quality. It better work out the box. I better, feel comfortable with it. It better last me a
It
long
should be
time,
perfect.
right? So I think we're in this value phase of people that get into our hobby follow a similar path, right? Let me try like the Platinum Preppy or the Pilot Metropolitan, then maybe get into the Twisbys and Kavecos and things like that. And then it either clicks from there or it doesn't, right? They're either good with what they have, Lamy Safari, great. That could be your only pen ever. Cool. That's one of my favorite pens ever. If that was my only pen, I'd be happy. Some people want to transition. They see the other things. What are these other pens? What are these materials like? What would this nib do for me? Why do I want to spend this much money on a pen? So now we have a customer base that's taking the time to learn these things and they want to spend their money well. So the value phase may not be the right term because I don't want to get that misconstrued with cheap. People are happy to spend money on a pen, in large amounts of money, but there is a perception, but people nowadays might be making one big purchase a year as opposed to 3 big purchases a year. And that's a huge difference, especially for someone like Yost, who like when you get into like the really like the luxury level brands, like that's a change. And that could be a value change too, even for that market. If you're buying, some people are going to buy $3, $4, $5, $3,000 pens a year because that's what they like. That's what they love and they can afford it. Well, now they might only be buying 2. Right. So I just think that's kind of like the whole market right now is people are really focused on getting the best bang for their buck, whatever price point they're in, and they are educating themselves before they're making these purchases. So like the purchases someone walking into Appelboom might take a little bit longer, right? Because now they have more questions because they've learned more before setting foot in the door or looking at the website, right?
I a little bit disagree on that because there's also a lot of more information now online. So
True.
people come in the store really well informed. Today, actually, there was a lady in the store. She knew exactly what she wanted. She came in the store, bought this pen, gave me $1,000, walked out of the store, 5 minutes. it was
that's amazing. Yeah.
those are the best customers actually. So I want more of them. No, but there are a lot of people that are really well informed, and of course sometimes there are questions, and I'm really happy to share the information. But that's something that's true.
You're in the relationship business, right? You're not in the pen business, right? Like that's the way I always look at it in any type of business, right? Like the best businesses run on relationships, right? So you being open, doing these public shows like this, giving people information, right? Like it's only good.
Yeah.
So what was the
Annabelle, did that answer your question?
I think there was a second part of the first question I might have missed, but
No, that's solid.
Yeah.
Thank you. My second question, you mentioned Lamy Safari. That's a perfect segue because we just cited Lando Norris at a Lamy shop in Melbourne this weekend, Australian Grand Prix. What are your predictions for this weekend?
How have I missed that? I follow all the things and I did not see Lando at the Lamy shop. What are my predictions for this weekend's race? I was gonna make a Danny Rick joke, but it probably wouldn't have worked. Gosh, what am I?
Driving.
What am I? I know exactly. That's what I was gonna say. He was gonna win, even though he's not driving, but he just wins in everybody's heart in Australia. So you can't go wrong with that. I'm going to continue the Red Bull run. Max will be back in P1. I think that the Aussie contingent, I'm specifically talking about Oscar, is going to have another bad time. I'm not ready to turn that corner yet. As much as I love McLaren, love Lando, and love Oscar, I would not get my hopes up for any points for the Papayas this weekend. So that's my prediction.
At least P15 for Oscar. That would be nice.
Yeah.
It's not high hopes, but it's some hopes.
It's not high hopes. You can't have high hopes right now. They say maybe in a few weeks, but it looks very, very bad. So that's my prediction.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. I think we still have.
I will write it down. I will write this down.
Yeah, we're still in very much. It's Red Bull's world. We're just living in it, and until I see anything that would change my opinion of that, there's no as fun as it would be for Alonso to sneak in there. I'm like completely discounting the Ferraris, like just out of hand, and
it can only happen when Red Bull has an error or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like in the Mercedes days, right? You just 1-2 is sorted, and then all the interesting bit is in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm still hoping actually that Max comes in, walking in the store here one day, and then buys that Montegrappa Art and Senna limited edition pen that we still have here in solid gold. So hopefully he wins, and he wins the entire season, every race. So he's so happy that he comes in the store and buy that pen. That would be great.
I highly doubt it, but
well, and then buys like the entire office, like a couple hundred, some whatever pen. I don't know what it would be, but
that's okay. We can make a dedicated limited edition for him. That's no problem.
There we go.
We'll sort it out.
Let's do it, Max. Come on.
Yeah. Brad, you answered the question of Mr. Founder Pen memes, but you can also come up with a question for our next guest yourself. So what question would you like me to start the next episode of the next podcast with? So
this is tough. And I had literally seconds to think about this. So
you don't know who's going to be the next guest. So that's,
and I don't know who's going to be the next guest. So, which is fine, because I think this is a general question. I like to have a little bit of chaos in the questions, put people on the spot, make retailers uncomfortable with their guests' answers. So I want to know from your next guest, what is their least favorite ink brand?
Least favorite ink brand. I will write it down.
I think I know the answer. Okay, good.
Okay, Annabelle, you can now announce who's going to be the next guest on the show.
Our next guest is going to be Tone from Giants Pens.
Oh, nice. So you know them well, so you probably know the answer, and they may not be the inky explorers that a lot of us are. So we could.
Well, the thing is that he used to work at former colleagues like Ronde Compte, right?
Okay.
They don't exist anymore, but he knows a lot. And he has a
Okay.
huge
So
personal
has that
pen collection as
experience.
well. So
Nice.
Let's discover
and
it
he's
next
also
week
quite
what he will
opinionated.
answer.
Nice. Oh, well then good. Maybe I actually lucked into a decent question. So.
Yeah, I think so. Well done.
Thank you so much, Brett. All right, we're already at the end of the show. Annabelle, thank you so much again for co-hosting the show with me, and having all this information about the new products, etc., looked up and everything, and being so prepared. Next week we see you again with our next guest, Teun from Giant Pen. So that will be a lot of fun. We can actually. Teun and I can speak Dutch. You can understand it a little bit, so that would be fun.
Excuse me.
No,
I'm Dutch
kidding.
Thank
No,
you.
kidding.
Tjonge,
Brett,
jonge,
thank you
jonge.
so much for taking your time and having a chat with us. We wish you a lot of luck, of course, with the Pen Addict podcast. Everybody should listen to it and, enjoy it. And hopefully we see you another time, maybe here again
Absolutely.
on the show. Let's
Absolutely. Love to do it anytime, anything y'all need. Absolutely love y'all. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you're listening to us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts, if you're watching us through YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss out on a video of us at all. That's it. See you next week. Bye-bye.